Hello everybody and happy Halloween! Today we have an exciting video. Today we're going to be learning about the history of Halloween and modern versus actual Halloween. So secularized Halloween versus actual Halloween. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I love Halloween, and as I've grown, I've realized that it is the feast day before All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. Some Christians think it's just a day and doesn't matter, whereas others say you should turn off your porch lights and scold those who celebrate. I'm in the middle. I think Halloween should be appropriate and get rid of the gore, ghouls, and sexual costumes. Instead, dress as a saint or something neutral. That's why I'm wearing this princess costume. Appropriate, but not a saint either. Hypothetically, I could be dressed as a saint, but I'm not. Just something simple. Um, so, and guys, you can also, like, do stuff with your costume. This costume, the hem was too long, so I cut it, and then this right here was not there before, so I sewed this part on. So you can also make your, like, Halloween costumes better, or more appropriate or whatever. But anyway, let's get into the video. So let's get into the history. So a lot of people say that the Celtics created a holiday called Samhain, but this is actually not true. The Celtics were a very broad group of people from modern day Turkey to Spain, to northern Spain. So a really, really big stretch of people with different languages, cultures, and customs. You can't just say that all of them celebrated the same holiday on the same day. So that's actually not true. Celtics were not just the Irish Celtics. There were also ones in northern Spain, for example. Samhain wasn't celebrated, and its word means summer's end. Um, Not all history is true. Some is speculation. So why did they say Samhain? Well, some of it was speculation, and they were like, "Oh, well, Samhain means summer's end, so Samhain must be some kind of holiday." 4. Uh, Irish or Celtics could describe someone um of literally anywhere, just as the Greeks described somebody being non-Greek as being barbaric. So the Greeks describe anybody who's not Greek as barbaric. That's like saying the barbarics did this back in. Well, no, barbarics are not a group of people. They're not a monolithic group of people. They could be anywhere. Same with the Celtics, a very broad group of people. Um 6. Irish Celts at the end of harvest would have a feast day, kind of like a Labor Day. So think about it. You spend all summer getting your crops together and doing everything that you need to for, you trade through the summer. You prepare your gardens and your farms for the summer in an agricultural society. And then at the end of summer, you can up all your food, you preserve your food, and you have a celebration with the people around you, saying finally the harvest is over. That's what historians speculated that this so called Samhain, otherwise just some like harvest Labor Day, was. And at the end of summer, you had kids going back to school. You didn't have to worry about a plague or a famine over your crops. It was nice to, yeah, you have to worry about this, the winter's cold, but it was this nice middle. You don't have to worry about trading and agriculture, but you also don't have to worry about freezing to death just yet. Um, so next we have people could have been doing rituals, but there's no evidence to say that they were. There's also no evidence to say that they weren't, so we really don't know. Um, 8. Historians looked at Irish folklore to explain this holiday. So they would look at Irish folklore to explain, oh, they thought that this was the day where the spiritual veil was thin. It was the end of the year for them. They were looking at Irish folklore for a lot of that. 9. So this one's really important. People think that having a bonfire was to worship some kind of deity, but actually, at this time, so keep in mind, All Saints' Day became a thing in 835. So even before All Saints' Day was an actual holiday celebrated in the Catholic Church, having a bonfire was important as the months got colder and when they didn't have any electricity. Also, they could use bonfires to connect with their neighbors, just as people in the year 2025 do. Um, 10. When the Protestant Reformation came, people in church would pray for saints and ask saints to intercede for them, and they would pray for the dead, hoping that their loved ones were in heaven. And so they would light candles, and when the Protestant Reformation came and said, no, you can't light candles for anyone, for anything, for any reason, at any time, they outlawed lighting candles. The Catholics at this time were like, okay, fine, we'll have bonfires to pray for those where it's harder to see who's praying in the middle of the night. Plus, bonfires equal more heat in the colder months. So people were using bonfires because the Protestant Reformation, on top of, bonfires being used for heat when there's no electricity, bonfires were also a way to pray for those who have passed in a way where they weren't going to get thrown in jail because of the Protestant Reformation. Next we have, it's a good thing to remember that you will die. Memento mori. As the leaves fall, as the plants grow brown and frail and die, it's a good time to remember that we will also die. That we will die. No matter your status or class or amount of money or how holy you think you are or how holy you actually are, you will die. So memento mori, remember you will die. Having a celebration or a feast day is actually godly. Now, am I saying that you should go get drunk or have premarital sex or whatever as part of a celebration? No. But having a celebration is godly, such as the wedding feast of Cana, where Jesus turned water into wine. Now I will have to say, don't glamorize death, but remember what comes after it, which is hopefully heaven. 14. We as Catholics need to take back our holidays. Not celebrating the Saints' Eve, aka Halloween, is like saying, well, Christmas is becoming so secular, so I'm just not going to celebrate it. What? I know a lot of people are like, oh, Saint Valentine and St. Patrick's Day are like not Christian or whatever. And it's like, Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine. Wait, you can't really see. But Saint Valentine was literally a saint. It says it in his name. I don't know why we're trying to act like Saint Valentine's Day is evil just because people use it as an excuse to have premarital sex. That's not what Saint Valentine's Day is about. And a lot of people drink heavily on St. Patrick's Day. That's not what St. Patrick's Day was about, or St. Patrick himself, or St. Valentine himself. So I'm tired of people saying, oh, well, St. Valentine, or Valentine's Day actually came from this demon called blah, 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 and that's where it actually came from. What about saint in front of something says demonic? Like, literally, guys, like, let's just do some history, okay? But anyway, 15. Celebrate the saints and not demons. So I personally think that no gore, no ghouls, no witches or monsters. And guys, I've learned so much about being a Christian and about history. Just last year, I dressed up as a witch, and now I realize, oh yeah, I don't need to dress up as a ghoul. That's not really necessary, actually. But, decorating your house with fall themed stuff, or pumpkins, or like a cat, like a black cat, or like a bat, or that kind of rhymes. Or, something neutral doesn't mean that it's like bad. Um, or like putting a skull inside your house that says Memento Mori, remember you will die. It's okay to remember you will die. Don't romanticize it, don't fantasize about it, but like remember it will happen. Okay. So next we have just some things I wrote in my journal, kind of describing this. In 835, Pope Gregory the Third made the celebration for martyrs, aka saints, and to pray for those who have passed souls on November 1st and 2nd. The purpose of this is to remember those who have died, whether saint or not. Trick-or-treating started in Ireland to collect food and materials for the village bonfire/feast. So trick-or-treating, literally used to collect materials and food, basically a potluck. Okay, people hundreds and thousands of years ago, they're different from us, but humans are still humans at the end of the day. Okay, and then there's also like, I believe later in time, trick-or-treating was like a treat for a prayer. So if you give me a treat, I'll pray for you. So there's like two interpretations of what trick-or-treating originally was. I always knew I loved celebrating the change in season, but evangelicals always told me it was evil from the start until I did some history checking, as I just did a second ago. Halloween is more like a Labor Day in the past. I've noticed that in the last 20 to 30 years it's grown more demonic, and is the holiday's no longer about what it once was. $30 bags of candy to sexy everything. It is secularized. So what is the difference between All Saints Eve versus modern Halloween? So guys, I actually have a little demonstration. So I'm just going to read this, and then I think that'll be the end of the video. Modern Halloween. So this is what secularized Halloween has done to our society, and this is what it has told us, and this is how it wants us to celebrate. It's evil, but it sprinkles in enough good to seem harmless. So basically trying to look good when it's not. Lies and says the origins are demonic when it's not. Biggest day for Wicca, Satanist, and human sacrifice rituals. And this is because a lot of Satanists and Wiccans and witches think that it's their holiday, so they think that they're taking it back, when in reality they just look like fools. No offense, but they do. It's just a day excuses. Trying to be scary, fueled by consumerism, materialism, trying to be a main character, unholy priest costume, and cute, playful, little horn devil costumes. Like they're trying to make the devil look cute, like the devil is some sexy 20-year-old girl in a red lingerie corset. Like that's not what the devil does, okay? He's not cute or playful. Maybe at first he will, to deceive you, but it's not the devil. Oh my goodness. When I was at Spirit Halloween, they literally had a Baphomet costume with a satanic sigil that the satanic temple actually uses. And I was like, ain't no way. And the Baphomet costume had an upside down cross, it had a pentagram, it had a satanic sigil that thing, and then it had a goat mask, and I was like, and God was telling me as I was walking down the aisle, like, look down, and all of a sudden my head, like, and I saw that costume, and I was like, no way they're selling this. No way they're selling a Baphomet costume in Spirit Halloween. Like, this is just crazy. Next we have tells us to watch witchy, spooky movies and music and rah, and then sexy everything costumes. I literally saw a video of a sexy Bluey costume. Sexy Care Bear. Sexy baby. Why are we trying to sexualize children's things? Sexy 17-year-old cheerleader. What? Just, I cannot. Next, lack of creativity. $40 costumes that break after a night, Sheen costumes. This kind of goes with the overconsumerism. Same with micro trend decor. Sheen outfits, boo baskets, hundreds of dollars, those things. Gets bombarded with Christmas decor in the early season of October. Guys, I went to Michael's on October 1st. I went back on October 5th, and they had Christmas trees out in the front. And all the Halloween stuff was like pushed to the left side of the store. And I was like, it's October 5th. I can't even enjoy Halloween or Thanksgiving without being bombarded with stuff for Christmas. It just doesn't make any sense. And then a lot of people say, oh, it's for parties. You just have fun, like, relax. And they don't take any spiritual or historical meaning to the holiday. So basically, modern Halloween is just consumerism, me, I'm the main character, how much money can I spend? It's just a day, like, who cares, let's go do this or that. The devil's so cute and playful. That's what modern Halloween, or like people saying its origins are demonic. That's what modern Halloween has become, and that's what it says it is. Versus All Saints Day. All Saints Day celebrates martyrs and prays for those who have passed, hoping that they go into heaven. I want my, like, past family members to go into heaven. You dress as a saint or something neutral, like an animal. I don't know. You celebrate the changing seasons with fall decor rather than things that are meant to actually like scare you, like fake blood on the walls or something. I'm fine with like cats and bats and skulls, but other than that, I don't really necessarily see um anything else needed. And I'm not saying that fantasy or fiction is bad. I think that you can use fantasy stories such as Percy Jackson to try and find a godly message within something secular. Um, the other day, I watched K-pop Demon Hunters after everyone said that it was like this girl on YouTube said it was demonic, and I'm like, okay. So I watched it with my little cousins, and I was like, how? This is so like I don't understand. But anyway, a day to learn about history and inspiring stories. So one of my favorite saints is Saint Diaphima. And I think she is super duper cool. And I was gonna dress up as her. This was just more so in my timeline. Like I just finished this sewing this yesterday. But All Saints Day has kind of made me think about all the saints who have died and who have been martyred and their stories and the different places that they were from and all these other things. Like it's really cool to learn about history um and just inspiring stories. It's PG and you're not glamorizing fear. Fear is a part of life, but don't glamorize it, don't romanticize it. Um and the thing about All Saints Day is that it's PG. Okay, everyone can enjoy it. Okay, I'm sorry that you can't go to your party and get blackout drunk, but let's like keep it PG. That's okay, you know? Next we have encourages reusing decor and DIY projects. Um if you guys saw my last video, I made that. You can't see it. That right there that I just showed you, the little like orange and brown here. That thing. I made that out of my grandma's scrap quilt fabric. So guys, you don't need to buy everything every new year. And when I go on Pinterest to look at different ideas for All Saints Day, I'm pleasantly surprised about how many like DIY projects there are instead of going to Michael's and buying a $40 styrofoam pumpkin. Yes, that is a real thing. um, um, you can pass out Jesus loves you candy. You can pass out um candy that looks like Mary or something or Jesus. You can pass out like Happy All Saints Day candy just to kind of like plant the seed in others that this holiday does not have to be secular because it wasn't supposed to be. Um Next we have understand Halloween's history and how this holiday has been twisted by the devil. And I think as Catholics, we oftentimes don't really know how to defend our faith. So I think that learning about the history of All Saints Day and aka Halloween, we learn how to defend our faith. Um, like I've had many conversations with evangelicals, Protestants, and they're brothers and sisters in Christ, but I do think that they respect what I have to say more because I'm able to defend my faith, unlike a lot of Catholics they have met in the past. I'm not saying I know everything, I'm just saying that you gotta understand to some degree why you believe something. So I think understanding the history and how it's been twisted is really good, you know? Next, it's a holy day of obligation. So not All Saints Eve, but All Saints Day is a day of obligation to go to mass, and I really hope that I'm able to go this year. Um, Next is that it's been around since 835. 835, not 1835, not 1935, no, 835, three-digit number. That's insane. This holiday's over 1,000 years old, and people still want to say and argue that it's pagan or demonic. Next is that we're passing tradition down to hopefully our offspring or our future children. I'm single, but if you have children, be like, yeah, I did some research and this is how we celebrate Halloween, and other people may celebrate it differently, but this is how we do it. And you are able to create traditions, like maybe every year you and your family go um to the pumpkin patch. Like that's a very PG, fun, um, like holy thing to do. Next we don't need to scold others or shut others out for celebrating um the modern day version of Halloween. A lot of people are not followers of Christ. A lot of people don't know the history or have not yet come to that conclusion. Like I said, last year I dressed up as a witch. I didn't really understand what Halloween was actually about, in the sense that it's All Saints Day. Um, so, don't shut others out or scold them for celebrating the modern or secularized version of Halloween. Instead, like, maybe if they strike up a conversation, maybe if it comes up in conversation, or the way that you act and decorate your house and the activities that you do, maybe can show others that you don't need to have an inappropriate holiday in order to celebrate something or secularize something. Just like how in order to celebrate Saint Valentine's Day, you don't need to buy $30 worth of chocolate and a stuffed animal and $20 roses. You don't need to do that. So you can tell others through your actions that there's a different and better way to celebrate something. So yeah. And most of all, my biggest point of All Saints Day is that we as Christians are unlike this world. We operate differently than this world. We're in this world. You know, we have jobs, we have houses, we do have to worry about things of the world, but we are not in this world, right? So we got to be unlike it, you know? But oh my goodness. But yeah. So the my neighbor is getting their lawn mowed and they can see me through the window. So I'm going to stop the video. But yeah, I will make another video on how to celebrate Halloween in a way that's like, you know, like how do you actually celebrate Halloween? Like what activities and decor and creations specifically can you do to make it a better holiday? But I wanted this video to be about the history and yeah. So this video is not edited, it's not formatted. Yeah, but I really just wanted to tell you guys what I've learned. Um and I wrote it all down. So I hope you guys have an awesome possum day and a really super good, fun Halloween. Stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!